Jeremy Corbell has been catching a lot of heat over online recently after the Jellyfish UFO was slammed by Sarah Gamm, who obviously worked, for Arrow and stuff like this, as she states that that was not a UAP at all. So you might remember the Jellyfish UFO that took the media by storm back in January of this year. When it went over, well, it was from like 2018, and it was filmed going over an Iraqi base over in, Iraq. It was, it was a US military base, but it was over in Iraq. And this was the footage, so you can see here, this Aaron UFO. So, as you can see from the footage there, we don't need to go through the entire 3 minutes. That was basically it. You saw a jellyfish, what looked like a jellyfish UFO, floating over an Air Force base or a military base of some description, before then allegedly plunging into the water and disappearing for about 15 minutes and then resurfacing. And that was what was leaked to Jeremy Corbell, who then released it to the public after 5 years of basically keeping wraps on it, or 6 years of keeping wraps on it. And it all came out around the time of the Miami Mall aliens incident, so UFOs and aliens were a very hot topic. But this was on the News Nation podcast with Ross Coulthart, and this is what Sarah Gamm had to say about it.
Yeah, I actually appreciate that question a lot. There are some things that have been leaked, and I want to say what has been unfortunately leaked, which is what we call an unauthorized disclosure, isn't the whole picture. So some things that have been in media uh, is 5% of what it is, and I can't talk about more of what it truly was, but I will say I hope people stop leaking because that's not helping us because it's not the actual story.
Actually, this is really interesting because I respect and actually admire why you're saying that, and I think I understand why. I'm privy to some information. You know, there is a risk, isn't there? And I don't think people understand this enough, that we might compromise technologies, capabilities that aren't otherwise known about by potential adversaries. Is that fair to say?
Oh, absolutely. And it's not this just that, it's we've looked at some of these things already and have, different opinions than what was provided to the media from the person who leaked the data. So that's why I'm saying, other than it being like a unauthorized disclosure and an issue from that perspective, it is not the whole story and it's not always accurate. So it's actually hurting us versus helping us.
Yeah. So let's talk about you, Sarah.
So obviously there she spoke about unauthorized disclosure and kind of how that plays into things. And, basically, Jeremy Corbell is apparently looking at potentially getting arrested for this. So it's floating around Twitter right now that, Jeremy Corbell could be arrested for leaking classified UFO videos. Now, whether that's the case or not, I don't know. Obviously, there was the whole podcast that he did. I made a video about it a couple of days ago where, he spoke about threats to his life and stuff like this and how he's got a dead man's trigger and all the rest of it in place when he was on his podcast with George Knapp. And he spoke about how he was a target and how, there's increased threats against his life and stuff like this off the back of all of this stuff. But, we do get a bit further into this.
Is not a UAP. That video is not a UAP. I can't provide what it is because the analysis to that is classified, and I'm not not risking that. But I'm going to say, it's so frustrating for people, I did not do the analysis on that video. So the people that did, you end up getting somebody that does unauthorized disclosure, which in the intelligence community is leaking information. So like Snowden. Snowden went in, leaked information, unauthorized disclosure. That's illegal. And when these people leak stuff like this, you leak 5% of what it is. They don't provide what the analysis actually was. So it's really frustrating from a person on my end that some of the data that was leaked from when I was on the task force, we would spend very good effort on. And somebody would leak a still photo or a screenshot or whatever, and only provide that screenshot. And that's not the story.
Morphology. I mean, it looks like.
So, you know, obviously it's a bit of a gimmick, it's a bit of a play on, you know, the rest of it, and just a bit of a meme about the whole situation, but it provides good context about what's going on. Obviously, you know, Sarah Gamm said there, it's illegal to do what he did, apparently, and they've said it's fake. She's just outright said it's absolutely fake. So it's looking a bit heated, but another big person in the UFO community, Activated Red Panda Koala, said, who burned Jeremy Corbell about the Jellyfish UFO video? And this is an interesting poll. So whoever leaked him the jellyfish, so 39.6% believe that was the majority. 33.9% of people said that Sarah Gamm is lying. And the minority of people say that Corbell made shit up at 26.5%. So it is very interesting to see the you know, the parallels here. But Jeremy Corbell and Nat are in breach of the law, knowing they disseminated, couldn't get that word out, I'm so sorry, classified material. They are now threatening US government and had a dead man switch, which ensure catastrophic disclosure. And, you know, people saying, I like Corbell and Nat, but something about them is fishy. They don't feel authentic like other UFO guys. You don't see Lazar much without Cornell. Maybe he's his handler. There's something decidedly off about Corbell. The trust me bro tidbits and melodrama and hysterics. There's always a new book or video coming out that will blow the lid off the UFO mystery. We're living in an age of attorney, and Corbell is very much emblematic of that. And then to respond to this, Jeremy Corbell, very interestingly, released this clip from, I think the movie's Pulp Fiction, right? And, you know, he just posted this and just said, be cool. So it's almost like, you know, is it like a little nod to the media being like, yeah, I know I'm under fire at the minute, but I trust my sources. I know that what's going on. I'm going to be cool about it. Because I think he's like basically pointing at himself as the Samuel Jackson character in this tidbit, and you know, just kind of saying that, yeah, he's under immense pressure right now, but he's just going to be cool about it. It begs the question, and that's the only response that him or George Knapp seem to have dropped about it. But what do you think? Is Jeremy Corbell, first of all, trustworthy? Is the source of the Jellyfish UFO trustworthy? Is the Jellyfish UFO even real? Do you think it's real? Do you think it's fake? Have you always sat on that side of the fence? Has Sarah Gamm changed your mind on any of this? Let me know everything down in the comments below. While you're down there, be sure to jump scare the hell out of that like button. And until next time, I'll speak to you later.